Hello. Hello there. Don't know who I'm saying hello to, but I just like to open in that way. Um, I'm very inspired today, and I thought I can put stuff on my page, or I could do another video. And the six that I've done so far, or the few I've done, particularly on the ego, I thought were important anyway because I needed to set in my own mind a foundation from which to move forward into all these other subjects. Um, and sort of, I think the ego was the best part to start with this. So, got myself a cup of tea, but I'm really sort of quite up today, and I think it's being inspired. I think particularly by what I'm doing is something that people get involved with and really get on board with. And it's one of my favorite things to do is I find some kind of purpose to follow. Then I don't want to do anything else. And I've been reading for the last couple of years, I suppose we could say, a particular type of literature, and there's lots of it. There's shelves and shelves of it. And I've followed a particular guy called Wayne Dyer. I'm also interested in other people that are from the science field, which I've never really been interested before, but they kind of helps me explain some of this spiritual stuff. But one of the subjects that keeps popping up, which I started to get more used to, is this idea of meditation. Now, if you'd have said meditation to me 6 months ago, I'd go, "Oh yeah, meditation," and I would have gone no further with it, because I think it's just not one of those things that we seem to either understand fully, or we've got no frame of reference for it. We've not really had much experience with it, and all we know about it is the perceived idea that it's something to do with chanting, or being in a cave, or in the woods, or on a cliff top, or in loose fitting clothing and in a lotus position. And you know, in my current frame of mind, I think I'm basically open to lots and lots more things than I ever was. I couldn't have had this conversation before 6 months ago because it just wasn't on my radar. I think now that it is, I want to talk about it because I think it's what this page is really set up for. So I'm quite excited because I'm getting results that I'm not entirely sure whether it's the meditation or whether it's something I'm just getting more relaxed about things. And I've noticed also that I'm becoming more an observer of those results. So, for example, if I'm being a bit stressy, I'm able to jump on it quite quickly and say, you know what, I spotted that in my meditation. I need to be a bit calm around this particular environment, and so on and so on. But let me just explain how I came to it, because I think I didn't know what to do. I had no idea. I could imagine what these people are doing, but I went off and researched it anyway. And Wayne Dyer was talking about it, and he explained in one of his Audible books, Japa meditation. And the way it was described was lovely, really, because he talked about a lake, and he said there's certain levels within that lake. And the top level is the chatter level. The chatter level really is when, I suppose, if you're one of these people who goes to bed sometimes, like me, and your mind is racing and you can't switch it off, you can't go to sleep. Well, that's the chatter going on. It's on the top of the lake where all of the disturbances are. The swimmer, the boat going past, the current, the waves, the windsurfer. That's where this constant part of your mind is working, and it's called a chatter level. I think if you drop a pebble into a lake, it will drop through all these different layers. And there's only a few, really, when you think about it. So, when you get into meditation and when you start doing it, you recognize that straight away, because your conscious mind is going, "What are you doing? Oh, you're sitting quietly now. Oh, and you need some cat biscuits. What are you doing now? What was that noise? And did that?" And so on and so on. And you just, "Oh, is that a motorbike or a car going past?" And it just goes, and you can see it. But when you start to see it, when you start to observe it, you start to be able to control it a little of it. So you start to you notice the thought, and you go, "Oh, cat biscuits. Oh, oh, there's my," and you move that out of your screen. You move it away, and you go, "Okay, I recognise that." And so what happens is all these disturbances start to just smooth out. And it can take 10 minutes, 15 minutes sometimes, depends on how much distraction is going on around you and how much you're able to control that chatter. So once you start moving through the chatter level and you start to control your breathing, start to relax and still your mind, then we get into the analysis phase, or the level. This is what they call the intellectual violence phase, where you're pulling everything apart and you're looking at things, and why did they say that, and what happened there today, and why was that person so mean to me, and why did I react in that way? And this is where you start pulling things apart. But ultimately you start to look at them, and then you move a little lower and you move into the synthesis level. And this is where you start to accept things a little bit more. And you say, okay, the reason I did that was because I was feeling quite stressful about a particular situation, that relationship's not going the way I wanted to. And you start to accept things about your life. And all the time, you're stilling your mind, you're controlling it, you're taking away the chatter, you're taking away the analysis, and you're moving into this idea that things are happening right now. And that's really the active part of your life that you have any real control over. If you're thinking about your past all the time, you can say, well, there's not a single thing about my past that I can change right now, because it's gone, it's in the past. So there's no need to worry about that. I think you've got to work in this active part. And then ultimately, once you get down to the synthesis level, they call it dropping into the unified field. And that's essentially a space where, for me, I feel my most relaxed. I feel that I've gone through all these levels. I'm now in a moment of time and space, call it what you will, where I'm able to just be. Now, in a busy world where you're trying to be a mum, a dad, a brother, a friend, a work colleague, in a relationship with someone, you think, well, I haven't got the time for this. I really haven't got the time. And I think, you've got to basically work on what I would call, in one of the posts I've put on my page here, you've got to work on Project You. You've got to have the work done on the inside first before you can start bringing it to other people. Wayne Dyer says, you can't give away what you don't have. And if you don't have love inside for yourself and light inside, then how on earth are you going to bring it into somebody else's life, into somebody else, into the relationship that you're trying to work on, be it that personal one or even a work one? So if you haven't got that peace inside, you're not going to bring peace to anything else on the outside. Because if you are doing that, I think you're bringing love to someone's life, but you don't feel it in your own heart. I think what you're doing really is performing. That's all you're doing. You're putting on a show. And I think ultimately you're going to tire of that, and you're going to get worn out. You're going to get exhausted. And then you're going to be thinking, well, who loves me? And you feel resentful towards the love that you give. So I think it's worthwhile during these times of meditation to start working on that self-love and start giving yourself at least that 20-minute space where you can really be with yourself. You can check in with yourself, and not particularly in a gross way, just that time, because I think you deserve it. It really is about you. It's not selfish in the old sense of the word that I used to believe it was. That was selfish and conceited, and I'm more important than you. It's working on the self. It's working on the fact that if a situation comes into your life that causes you pressure, you're able to handle it, and you're doing it in a calm way rather than just reacting. Bob Proctor, going back to that video that's on my page, he says there is a gap between yourself and the situation, and it's in that gap that you make you do the work, you react, or you respond, and hopefully you're going to take responsibility for that gap. You respond with ability. So yes, very excited, very inspired by this idea of meditation. as I said, we couldn't have had this conversation 6 months ago, and I didn't think I'd ever see myself doing it. And now I can't really imagine a day where I'm not going to meditate because it's producing results. And I think it's just something you have to be open to. It's either for you or it's not. When the student is ready, the teacher or teachers will appear. So if you're ready for it, then suspend your disbelief, give it a go. Get through the self-conscious phase of it all and see what you can learn from it, because I think we're always learning. So once again, have a good day. Explore this, share stuff with me as well, because I'm really getting inspired from the stuff that I'm reading, the clips that I'm seeing, and the books that people are suggesting. So enjoy all of this, because I really am.